I'd like to go back how we got into this mess in the first place. And the statute, of course, says these organizations, C4, the net earnings of which are devoted exclusively to charitable, educational, or recreational purposes. And then the rule that came along fleshing out the statute talks about promotion of the social welfare. An organization is operated exclusively for the promotion of social welfare. And then it further defines that term. The promotion of social welfare does not include direct or indirect participation or intervention in political campaigns. So I want to get back to the original purpose of the statute as being implemented by the IRS. How could you all in the IRS allow the tax breaks funded basically by the taxpayer on these political campaign expenditures? Can you all shed some light, please?
Well, I can start, sir. So there's let me try to restate some pieces of the questions you may be asking and see if I'm getting them right. And please correct me if I'm not. There's a question out there that the statute, and I believe the chair references, the statute talks about exclusively for social welfare. The regulation, which was promulgated 50-some years ago, talks about primarily.
It uses primarily, but then it goes on to say what is promotion of social welfare. This is the rule. Does not include direct or indirect participation or intervention in political campaigns on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office. And yet what we've seen in the course of the last two campaign cycles is enormous money running through both through these C4 organizations, which the avowed purpose is on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office and the intervention in political campaigns. So where is the IRS in the regulatory process enforcing its rule to stop this in the first place, which if it had, would have gotten to the mess that we're in right now?
So there's a couple of places where we have to act. And again, I mean, if I can set the context a little bit. As a 501c4 organization, you are permitted to engage in an amount of political campaign activity. You are. As long as it is not, along with the other things that are not social welfare, your primary activity. We have an obligation to take a look at cases, both in the audit stream, we're out there doing this sort of work, or in the determination letter process, which is why we began to centralize these cases. You asked for the genesis of this. Centralization here was warranted. We have to look, we're obligated under the law to look at what an organization does in order to grant exemption. The way we centralized was wrong, and that goes to the listing that we used. But we are to look at the amount of political campaign activity that is planned and how an organization operates as we do our work, and that is what happened in the determination letter process here.
Okay, well, I would simply say, Mr. Chairman, since we are doing the oversight here, that the rule, I understand the King's English, and it says the promotion of social welfare does not include direct or indirect participation or intervention in political campaigns. Now, how you interpret that to say that that does allow some intervention in political campaigns is beyond me. And if that had been cut off at the pass, we wouldn't even be getting to these interpretations. Yes, sir.
Senator, I just would like to note that TICTA will be conducting a review of the IRS's oversight of the level of campaign intervention by 501c4s shortly.
Who will be doing that?
My organization, sir, TICTA, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration.
Well, Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, I'd say that if we could get the IRS to follow the law and the regulation that implemented it, we wouldn't have this problem in the future.